So we will start our webinar with Dr. Imad Break, the director of MedRiSSE in Palestine, in An-Najah University.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samah. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you all on behalf of An-Najah University for our 8 webinars. Of course, as you mentioned, Samah, it's a special webinar related to innovative currencies in our Mediterranean countries. Therefore, I hope it will be a good, fruitful and a good discussion today in order to understand the Midtown project, which is related to these subjects. And also we have key speaker from Palestine also to share with us their experiences related to innovative issues related to new currencies and electronic currencies. Again, I would like to welcome you all on the in our 8 seminars, and I hope it will be a fruitful meeting today in order to discuss many issues related to innovative currencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Imad. So the setting for today will be, we have 2 keynote speakers who will inform us about the innovation currencies. And then also we have a case example from PARC, from the Midtown project. So we have Mr. Jose, I'm not sure if I can say the family name right, but I will try. Sorry for that. So he's the focal point for the social and solidarity economy at the Asamblea de Cooperación for La Paz, ACPP. He has more than 20 years of experience in international cooperation, during which time he has served as ACCP's head of mission in the Middle East and has coordinating cross-border projects in countries such as Portugal, Italy, Greece, Jordan, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, and Tunisia. He has acquired extensive experience in community organization and public policy co-creation processes, and has specialized in activity in the fields of social and solidarity economy and social innovation, which focus on monetary and financial innovation and digitalization in the public sector. So, Mr. Jose, you will have 10 to 15 minutes to give us interesting contribution.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samah.
Sorry for the missing of the family name.
No, Jose Riverly. That's fine. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm glad to see also a few known faces and friends. Thanks to the university for the invitation to this very interesting seminar. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully this little part will work more or less okay. See. Is that working?
Yes, it is working.
Good. So we're past the main hurdle. Well, ACPP, as you know, is an organization with a long-standing presence in Palestine. I myself lived there for almost 5 years. So when I am invited to talk at a seminar like this, I feel at home and among many people. Today, I want to present some innovative components of MedRiSSE project. MedRiSSE project is a project led by, in Palestine, by An-Najah University and PARC, but also ACPP is involved. And in order to talk about a complementary currency component that we've promoted, I need to talk to you first about the platform that we've jointly created. It's an online platform that gathers SSE actors from across the Mediterranean. It gathers also public officers interested in co-creating public services with social and solidarity economy actors. And we've envisioned it as a platform that helps create a collaborative ecosystem for SSE agents to develop their vision, their capacities through a set of strategies that revolve around providing with training resources, but also access to a knowledge database that's a sort of a wiki that's accessible through the website, and it's being developed in a collaborative manner by many of the active members of the community. But it's also a place where we are encouraging the establishment of linkages and collaboration, and also partnerships with public and private sector actors. The platform also provides with access to funding through a system of sub-grants that have been promoted through the Medtown project, but we are developing a crowdfunding mechanism that will be linked to a local currency. Or complementary currency. I will get to that. The lab, and this is more a vision than a full realization yet, we imagine it, the partners of the MedRiSSE project, as a digital environment that operates as an umbrella, providing additional supports to physical spaces in a number of Mediterranean countries that will provide support and funding and coaching to incubating social and solidarity economy. So we imagine the lab as an additional service that brings together SSE practitioners from across the Mediterranean, that allows them to find support, assistance, consultation services, training from other actors within our region. And so it's like a layer, an additional layer to the services that these local hubs could provide. We are in the process of implementing with Tunisian partners space in Tunis, in the capital, also in Morocco, with Moroccan partners. In Spain, we have an initial agreement with a platform that provides services to SSE agents in Andalusia region. And we're working on some ideas with our Palestinian and Jordanian partners on how to establish that linkage also between the digital realm and the local sphere. An example of resources available in the platform are training courses, such as the ones that you can see here, but also the wiki that I've made reference to, which is a growing repository of knowledge related to SSE, to social and solidarity economy, and also co-production of services, public and private, non-for-profit collaborations. So it is in this context that I wanted to talk to you about complementary currencies. Okay, complementary currencies are systems of exchange between people that have existed pretty much from the times that the currencies, official currencies, were established in the context of national or countries, no, or sovereign countries. These have always been systems that allow people to exchange goods and services that complement the official currency in a certain territory when either there is not enough liquidity or people have no access to, let's say, ordinary resources. And they often emerge in contexts of crisis, financial crisis. Some of the most imaginative formulas for complementary currencies emerged in the 2009-2013 crisis, financial crisis throughout the world. And there are very good examples in Argentina, in Brazil, etc. But also in times of war. In some of the earlier documented cases in Spain of complementary currencies took place or were created during the Civil War in the 1930s, when there was not enough money circulating and people needed still to acquire services in the market. Local currencies can be roughly divided into two types, and we will see these two types operating also within the Mediterranean Lab for Co-Production. A type of currencies are linked to an official currency. They have an exchange value of 1-to-1 normally with the official currency in a certain country. If we were in Europe, I am in Europe right now, my complementary currency will be possibly linked to the euro, so we have a clear reference of the value of one of these units of a currency. And this can be used in exchange for services replacing the role of traditional money. Why would that be interesting to do? For many reasons, but mainly because this is unlike an official currency, which is universally accepted in the territory. A local currency is accepted by mutual agreement within a limited group of people. And this can be interesting because this can create money exchanges or resources exchanges that seek goals that are different from that of an official currency that could complement. For instance, it could be a currency utilized only for small shops and businesses and their clientele, so that large supermarkets, such as the ones that operate in many of our market economies, do not absorb all of the economic, let's say, interactions in the territory, so that the money stays with the people and stays with the local economy and contributes to its growth. So this would be one type of currency. There's another big type of currency, which is the time-based mutual credit formula. In this case, there's no backing official currency to the transactions, meaning unlike the backed currencies where you can always at some point exchange the local currency for your official currency, in the case of the mutual credit formulas, there's no backing by official money. This instead is replaced by trust, for instance. And it's often, the value is normally linked to time. So 1 hour of my time is equivalent to one unit of my complementary currency. If I wanted, for instance, to seek advice, consultation from Dr. Sama, I could ask for 3 hours of her time to help me assess a certain methodology that I'm working on and I am stuck with some difficulties. And we would agree that she would pay me, or I would pay her with three units of my credit, and these 3 units would be 3 hours of Dr. Sama time, and she would now be in a credit position of +3 that she could use with Dr. Imad, so that he can review or help review a thesis of one of her students. And so that exchange could be happening and subsequent exchanges. So these systems are particularly useful between strong communities that have a common goal and want to strengthen and increase the exchanges between the members. Okay. So how does it come into fruition inside the Mediterranean Lab for Co-Production of Social Innovation? Well, this lab hosts a community of practice that is now above 500 members from many nationalities, mainly Mediterranean countries, but there are also people from beyond. And all of the people there, they treasure, they have a very diverse variety of skills that can be put to the service of the community. So we we are envisioning on the one hand a system that will enable exchanges between peers, and these exchanges could be for services based on this variety of marketable skills or shareable skills that the different members of the platform have. And the other formula, and this is a contribution of actually the An-Najah University in a brainstorming session that we held in Florence not so long ago. The other solution, the other formula would be to have a backed currency, a currency that is backed by official money that could be used to pay for additional services of freelance actors that could provide with consultation, trainings, I don't know, communication services, marketing services, any services that an SSE initiative that's being launched or planning for launching could possibly need. So I've mentioned a few of the benefits of these systems, but we're talking about encouraging collaboration and innovation, also rewarding participation in the community. Some of the points that could be exchanged in a 1 hour, 1 point proportion could come from contributing actively to the community itself. If you add an entry into the wiki of the community regarding, I don't know, any field of knowledge that you may be specialized in, then you may obtain automatically some credit from the community that you can exchange for services or collaborations. But also, if you are active in the social network that exists, there's a wall and you can exchange messages, comment, or if you're organizing an event and you publicize it there, or you are uploading contents to the training platform, all of those things could be rewarded through the current through the points or time credit mechanism. There are many formulas that we are studying at the moment. One key element is that introducing a local currency into the community, we create at the same time a mechanism for improving the resilience of the community, because by having means of exchange that have economic value, we can channel from donor funding to specific projects through a grant sub-granting mechanism or a crowdfunding mechanism to, as I was saying, hiring services from a roster of experts that the lab recognizes as experts that can help the community, but the lab could charge a little commission from the experts so that it helps sustain its own activity and sustain the key expenditures. So all of these ideas are being incorporated into the community as we speak. We have distinguished between collaboration tokens. I was mentioning before an example. We will have rewards also from contributing to the community. There will be a system of rank, which is essentially a system to recognize your sustained involvement with the initiative. So as time goes by and as you contribute, your rank will improve. This is also a gamification technique that helps actors continue being engaged. And then, well, and then the system that I've mentioned by which we could hire services from experts. Well, I will not get into a lot more detail. There are different ways in which we're working on introducing an influx of credits into the system. For instance, if you sign up today, not today because we haven't launched the currency yet, we are planning to do it in the few next weeks. But once the system is in place, if you signed up for the community, immediately you receive a large sum of credits. something like 200 credits. This is to encourage people joining the platform. Then additional credit will be, resulting of active involvement with the community, but the initial distribution of credit to anyone signing up will be significant. So there is an added value to becoming a member of this community. As I mentioned before, we would have Med points, not backed by an official currency, and Med coins. Med coins come from granting, could also come from you purchasing Med coins, because you see the added value of our community and you want to use your own private resources or your institution's private resources to obtain consultancy services or any kind of services from anyone belonging to the community. And well, I will not get into many technicalities. I prefer to actually open the floor to any doubts, discussions that you may want to hold. So thank you very much until here.
Thank you, Jose. It's very interesting, and I have lots of questions and comments, but I think I will keep them to the end. So I think it would be interesting to go to Park to have their experience around the success story from Midtown, the pilot project in Palestine, the ClickCoin system. And then we will have maybe a response from Dr. Muad Asman to see how this is kind of work in Palestine. So the ClickCoin is a platform for a fungible and transferable voucher, redeemable for goods and services, interesting project in the Midtown. Partners are carrying out in Palestine, such as the implementation of a cash transfer system of humanitarian action in the Palestinian village of Sarfid, where 200 users are supporting the local economy through their social aid by using the payment system developed in the framework of Midtown with technology from Bitcoin, the project technology partner. So I think it's really interesting to go to Life, who will share with us the experience of Park. So Life, are you here?
Thank you, Dr. Samah, and thanks An-Najah University for organizing this webinar. Can I share my screen?
I think you can. Open.
Do you see my screen now?
Yes, it is clear.
Okay, I'm Lais Sarsour. I work as a project coordinator at Park. We work in many humanitarian projects. Recently, we started using the electronic payment system in delivering cash and voucher assistance. And we found that the electronic system have many benefits as they facilitated the humanitarian response and ensure the dignity and the privacy of the beneficiaries. I will present to you our experience in using ClickCoin system, which is a success story in the use of electronic payment systems. First, what are complementary currency and what are their benefits? Any currency that is not national currency but has acceptance for use in a specific condition in a nation, networks of producers and traders that exchange goods and services with each other using self-organized means of payment of voluntary acceptance. The benefits of complementary currency, it can be spent and respent across the system networks of traders and suppliers, creating circular chains of spending and income, build social connection and support local businesses. It has fixed value and have no interest rate on saving or borrowing. It ensures data protection and transparency. ClickCoin, what is ClickCoin? It is a technological platform developed by an international partnership under Midtown project, which is any project focused on the management of electronic payment for the digital channeling of public funds and their traceability, as well as the creation and management of complementary currencies. The Greek coin system is a digital exchange system, allows transaction between people, entities, and businesses in real time, safely, and transparently. We have used the Greek coin system to provide voucher assistance to 200 beneficiaries through 6 different shops in the area of Salfit and Jordan Valley in Palestine, through the development of a platform for this purpose. See the picture of the platform. We have distributed 168,000 coins, which is 168,000 shekel in the official currency, in 3 stages. The platform includes 4 types of accounts: project leaders accounts, counterpart accounts, shops, and beneficiaries. And each type of account has specific permission. For the project leader, they can release funds and monitor all the process. For counterpart account, they can create users, which is beneficiaries user and shops user, distribute coins to the beneficiaries, and validate transaction. Beneficiaries, they can exchange coins with shops. Shops, they can exchange coins to goods and services, and exchange coins to fiat currency or the official currency at the end of the process, based on the agreement with the counterparts. The working mechanism: how does the beneficiary transfer coins to the merchant or to the shop? We have printed 200 physical QR code and making 200 online account for the ClickCoin application, and to provide the beneficiary with these accounts and QR codes. So the beneficiary could carry out their transaction online via the phone application or offline by using the physical QR code. Buying process: if the beneficiary has a smartphone, the payment process initiated by the merchants. They can scan the QR code from the beneficiary's mobile app. And if the beneficiary does not have a smartphone, the merchant can scan the QR code from the physical card. Once the beneficiary has been identified, the merchant will enter the amount to be charged in their mobile application and select the type of Eid and request confirmation of the payment. The confirmation will be from the beneficiary. They can confirm the transaction by entering the PIN code in the merchant's app. If the code is correct, the transaction is recorded and the funds transferred from the beneficiary's account to the merchant's account. Then the merchants should take a photo of the receipt and upload it to the application, making them available in real time for verification by the counterpart. It requires verification of the receipt. In our case, it was an agreement with the shops not to sell Israeli products and some items such as cigarettes and alcohol. In this photo, you can see the purchase process in the shops that we have been contracted. System benefits and features. The system can generate a direct channel between administrations and user. Social inclusion, access to goods and services for people at risk of exclusion. Effectiveness, it's reducing the time needed to receive the aid. Payment method, it's easy, secure, fast, and cost efficient. It's locally growth. It's supports the economic impact of public spending, circulating money in the local markets. Commitment itself to involve citizens in responsible consumption and sustainable development environment. Flexibility, the system has a good flexibility, high customized rules and permission according to the need of the program. Monitoring, the system offers a service of data analysis and elaboration of statistics and graphs within the system itself. Data protection, the system ensures that the data of beneficiaries and vendors are protected. real-time management, the administration are able to grant, control, and supervise the aid granted. Transparency and traceability, the system stores the information of all transactions so that all parties can check the balance or know the status of the aid at any time during the process. Limitation and lesson learned. For the limitation, the internet connectivity and electricity challenges in some areas, especially in remote area where there is no stable internet connection, limited access to technology for some beneficiaries, especially elderly people, or the beneficiary does not have a smartphone. They can still using the system, they can still using the physical QR code, but they cannot track their account. The system is appropriate only where markets are functional and vendors can meet an increase in demands and provide the required technological capabilities. For the lesson learned, market-based analysis or market-based response should be selected in consultation with beneficiaries to ensure that they are appropriate for them. Purchases are better made in smaller quantities, and vouchers are not required to be used all at once. Include transportation fees for the beneficiaries in the project design, as many beneficiaries they are far away from the distribution point, so they need a taxi or transportation to get to the point. Thank you.
Thank you, Lai. It's very interesting. As someone coming from social work background, I think this needs a lot of community organizing because it's a challenging idea, especially in communities that are kind of weird for them to use technology and online coins and something like this. So I also have a question for you, but I will keep them to the end. But so I go to Dr. Muad Asmar. He is an assistant professor of finance at the Faculty of Economy and Social Science at An-Najah National University. He has worked at different managerial and consultants positions in private sector. He is a certified expert and arbitrator in IT and e-commerce by the Palestinian Ministry of Justice. He has bachelor degree in finance and banking from An-Najah. He has a master degree in information technology and a PhD in finance microstructure from University Science Malaysia. He also did a postdoctorate in exchange trade fund and fintech at School of Economy. So, Dr. Muad, we will be happy to have your thoughts and ideas about what we are talking about.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samah, for inviting me for this interesting topic, and thanks for all of you on this important project for the Palestinian economy and the emerging markets economy as well. Today I'm going to share with you some perspectives and challenges about the digital currencies or innovative currencies, especially in Palestine. Talking about innovation currencies or digital alternative currencies, that is the use of technology to accomplish of payment, which may include or take several forms, for example, using the cryptocurrency or using the digital token or community-based currencies. This is a kind of new payment methods. Any payment methods should have several factors to be successfully implemented. However, the most important things which I will talk about, it is the general perspective for this kind of payment to be successfully implemented in any context, especially in Palestine. First of all, using this in new innovative way of payments, or the digital currencies, or innovations in currencies, may have a positive impact to the economy growth. So for example, this innovative currencies may promote enterprises and individuals to start their new business, and this will encourage the Palestinian to engage in economic activities which have an economic growth as a result. In addition, using this kind of digital currencies may increase and have a positive impact on the financial inclusion. A lot of people may have difficulties to get the financial services from the financial institutions and banks, especially in the rural area, and especially with the special conditions of Palestine, where the traveling to the cities where the banks and the financial institutions are located is sometimes difficult. So using the new innovative payments of methods and a way to make the payments may increase the financial inclusions and provide the opportunities to several people to participate in and get the benefits of the financial services. In addition, using the financial or the digital currencies may increase the decentralization and empowerment of a lot of individuals, as this kind of digital technologies allow for peer-to-peer transactions without the need for the intermediaries. This will allow individuals to empower them and give them control over their finance, and reduce the dependencies to the decentralized financial institutions, which is dominated by the banks in the conventional systems. However, there is a lot of challenges with regard to the Palestinian context. First of all, the regularity environment. The laws in Palestine still not suitable to regulate this kind of innovations. Therefore, the laws need to be improved and to cover and to be suitable with such kind of transactions. In addition to that, the infrastructure and technology. In Palestine, to use this kind of innovations, we may need internet access better than the 3G, which is currently available. And new infrastructure is required to make such innovations usable, and a lot of Palestinian people can use them. In addition to that, I think there is still a problem with the trust and the financial stability of the providers of such these services. As I said, some type of transactions which is related to the digital currencies. For example, the cryptocurrency is not allowed in Palestine. So there is a need to build the trust and stability in addition to the regularity and laws requirement. In addition to that, awareness and education is an important thing. Awareness and education is an important factor to success of such these innovations. A lot of people should know and increase their knowledge about the importance of such innovations to be successfully implemented. In addition to that, I think we have in Palestine what we call it the digital divide, whereas there is the technology may be available to some people, whereas other groups with a low level of income and low level of education do not have these technologies. Not only the hardware, but also the knowledge and the importance to know these and to use these technologies to help them from economic point of view. Therefore, there is a socio-economic impact, as these innovations may have impacts on the way we live and the way we treat with the money and the and the way of the people maybe accept or use them. So in general, we can conclude that there are a lot of challenges to successfully implement such innovative currencies project in Palestine. This is in general what I would like to share with you, and I would like to thank you again for having me in this interesting webinar.
Thank you, Dr. Mu'ad. So I think there is a lot of connections between the three talks we have, of course, should be. But the main thing that I felt whenever we were talking about trust and maybe people mobilization and how we can encourage people to or educate people, and I think is also connected to small communities, as I felt with the experiences that we have, because people have to have the trust among each other. So Jose, I was wondering whenever you said that the innovation currencies can be exercised or implemented in a place with crisis. So there's kind of contradiction between crisis and trust in some communities, especially whenever we talk about contexts like many countries in the Middle East. So yeah, I like to have the reflection on this.
I mean, I think also the two interventions by our two colleagues were very interesting, and they offer different angles to the potential and the challenges of complementary currencies. Well, first of all, we already live among a multiplicity of currencies. I mean, you in Palestine know better than anyone else. You have the dinar, you have Israeli shekel, the dollars, the euro already coexisting. But I'm sure you also operate with some complementary currencies, from coupons from the supermarket to whoever travels frequently frequent flyer miles. All of these are means of exchange that are complementary to the official currency. What's different from those and what we are promoting, it's the goal. Those are oriented to loyalty from a client to a certain business or economic activity. What we're trying to build through this is linkages between within a community. I think in Palestine you have also an extraordinary, if difficult story of history of community struggles against occupation and against all the rising up to deal with very terrible situations. So many other formula you've pioneered many other formulas of community resilience. I would like to point out that although there are, and I'll go a little bit more in detail into the regulatory challenges that Dr. Muath was mentioning, although there are challenges, the truth is that you already have in Palestine at least one example other from the cash assistance that Laith was mentioning of a community currency operating. It happens in Beitilo town, west of Ramallah, if I am correct. And there, the village council is promoting a complementary currency that's being utilized to reward the neighbors that separate waste correctly. So if you at home, you separate your waste into the different fractions, you are rewarded by the municipality with points that they call beitilos. And the beitilos can be in turn exchanged for a discount on the waste tax. So this is already a system by which you are creating community ownership over a challenge, which is waste management under occupation with all of the difficulties posed by the lack of infrastructures. You're doing it by building linkages and addressing together a challenge that affects their well-being and their health. So this exists, and it's an example of how trust can be built upon shared goals and needs. The regulatory framework in Palestine, it is very true what Dr. Muath was saying, it's not well adapted to encouraging innovation in the field of finance and the introduction of, let's say, financial inclusion approaches. It's market-driven entirely. It's the laws that regulate digital payments essentially only consider a model that's based on a for-profit logic, and we've actually engaged with PARC in a very in-depth dialogue with the Palestinian Monetary Authority, trying to convey that in other countries, both South and North, developed or in process of development, there are regulations that allow for financial inclusion services to be deployed. And so we're trying to encourage a sort of formula that excludes these systems from the mainstream regulation that only allows banks to actually have digital payments or large corporations to deploy large payment or digital payment systems. We believe that a local authority can be, for instance, a guarantee enough for, in a limited territory, to back small economic transactions between a limited number of people. So we are working in this policy dialogue with the regulator because we believe this will be hugely potential. In the work that we're doing together, PARC and ACPP, for using local currencies in cash assistance, there's a potential that we're not making use of, because the sort of transactions that we can legally conduct are limited. The main potential of a local currency beyond creating community ties is fixing resources to a certain community and helping the resources recirculate within the local economy. and create additional wealth for the neighbors. So that recirculation right now is limited by the regulations that you have in Palestine, and it's something that we together as civil society actors, academic actors, we can work on trying to come up with a regulatory framework that's similar to others in the context that allow for such initiatives to fully develop. And yeah, everything else is actually true. Regarding technology, we've had, like was mentioning, we've had to come up with solutions that deal with the digital divide, with the lack of connectivity in some cases. So not only in Palestine, also in Spain and other places where we are working with these initiatives, a little key ring with a QR code that you can scan. It's a formula that we often try, and it works well with majority of users. And the last remark, just like this is not a for-profit system of digital payments, it's also has nothing to do with cryptocurrencies, in that this doesn't have to do much. I know Dr. Moaz was clear about this, but it doesn't have to do anything with this more speculative stock market exchange sort of formulas. This is purely oriented to sustainable development and financial inclusion.
Okay. Interesting. Like, I was keen to know how you kind of mobilize people in Salfit and the Jordan Valley to use such innovation. Especially, I know from my experience that people prefer to have cash instead of using such technology. And people, Palestinian maybe in general, they trust to have their money in their hands instead of using such technology. So I was wondering how people respond and how you mobilize the population.
So, Dr. Samah, our intervention, it was for providing beneficiary with vouchers, and we used electronic system to delivering this voucher. It wasn't cash. So the beneficiaries already dealt very well with the systems and also the shops. Even some of the shops that we are contracted, there were working with other e-voucher, but they found the ClickCoin system. It's very easy and secure system. And we give the beneficiaries the QRs and their accounts. They used them for 6 months for 3 stages of distribution. It was really easy for them. Most of them give us good feedback by using this system.
Okay. So did you do kind of introductory sessions for the population?
Yeah, exactly. We do session for the beneficiary, how to use the system and how you can track your account, your balance. And now we are working in Bethlehem for another humanitarian project. It will be the same, to provide beneficiaries with a voucher assistance. We will start the introductory workshops in July for the selected beneficiaries.
Okay. So, Dr. Moaz, do you think like such innovation currencies can be a way for Palestinians to have their own currencies instead of taking other currencies?
Thank you, Dr. Samah. As my colleagues mentioned, in Palestine, we don't have currency. We are working with a multi-currency environment where, as most of our daily transactions conduct in Israeli shekel, whereas the people, they save their money in dollar or Jordanian dinar because they think that they are more stable and they could be used for long-term investments. And to some extent, they may use the euro. Therefore, we have 4 currencies in Palestine. I think technically we are ready to issue our own currencies, but I think from economic and finance point of view, we still need the economical and the financial requirement to be ready. In more clear way, our situation in Palestine will not allow us to issue a currency and maintain its value because of our special conditions, whereas we don't have control to the borders and we don't have access to all the monetary policy instruments, whereas we can use it to make our currency sustainable. I think, therefore, it is better for us in these situations to use the currencies which is available now in Palestine. However, this does not mean that we cannot innovate. I really appreciate this kind of projects which is promote for the use of technology as a medium of exchange between the people, as the case which was shared by our colleague Lai. I'm happy that the people are using such this technology to make like exchange between them, whatever it is in a non-profit projects or in a commercial way. And I think the futures and the policy which is implemented in Palestine and around the world is to go for the cashless systems for conducting the payments, whereas we can use the in technology or any kind of payments instead of cash. This is a global oriented strategy where to reduce the cash have a lot of benefits to control the financial transactions and to achieve the strategic objectives at the globe during this, I mean, unstable conditions around the world. So I think a lot of opportunities still exist. We can use such innovative in payments and in currencies in different way within our limited resources, let me say like this, but we will see a lot of success story maybe in the future.
Thank you. So I'm sure that the many question will be raised comments from our guests from different areas of the world. So now anyone like to comment, have questions, have ideas or thoughts? So it's open now. So yeah, any question or comments, any feedback?
Well, I can, if there's no other, just a last remark.
Yes.
These proposals may sound to some like, let's say, too innovative to deal with an unlikely scenario that may or not develop in the future. The truth is that first of all, more and more we are dealing with a diverse ecosystem when it comes to payments, not only in Palestine. It's my children themselves with their video games, they're permanently dealing with points, discount points, etc. So this tokenization and this creation of multiple payment systems is already part of today's world. The second is that when it comes to complementary currencies, this is not just a bunch of small initiatives with little life span. There's some of that, but there are a good number of initiatives that have consolidated, and some of them have macroeconomic impact in economies like the one of Sardinia region in Italy, for instance, where the Sardex, it's a complementary currency that is used by the businesses, the business association of the island, with thousands of members utilizing it as a mutual credit system that does not rely on the euro. And it has a yearly volume of business that goes into the many hundreds of millions of transactions. And there are a good number of examples like that throughout the world to just show how mainstream it has become in some contexts. In South Korea.
Sorry to interrupt you. Is there available that can we consult that information in?
Yeah, I can leave some links here.
Okay, thank you.
And I was going to mention last one thing,
Okay.
which is that during the pandemic hardest period, the government of South Korea channeled more than 6,000 millions through a system of local currencies throughout the country, aimed at reactivating the economy and sustaining the small economy of neighborhoods and small shops. So there are governments that have clearly explored this possibility, and there are initiatives from pure private sector that have taken root and are being replicated throughout Italy in this case, and that we are very interested in applying in other contexts and working on it actually at the time. And so just to dimension this, not just as a small thing of activists in a certain little town, but actually what I see as a powerful economic tool that helps decentralize the economy, helps create complementary economy in many contexts.
Yeah. An-Najah, you raised your hand.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for this great workshop, Samah and our colleagues in An-Najah University. I have two general comments about the initiative of ClickCoin and other currencies. The main idea of this currency, let's say, is to promoting social changes and norms, like what's happening in Betillo. It's changing social norm in separation the garbage there and using the compost and the good techniques in dealing with the garbage in this community. So this is changing social norms and how to deal with some like good practices. Also, for the ClickCoin, using ClickCoin, it allows the inclusion of marginalized groups like women. In a previous, let's say, previous action or project by BARC and other organizations, there was excluding for women from this activity because they cannot access banks, systems, other means. So this small app allows women and other groups to use this and to access to the service. And this is the main goal of a humanitarian aid. And yeah, this is my two general comments on that.
I have to remind you that we have the MedRiSSE lab where you can go and become a member, and then there's lots of courses that people can sign in for, and I think one of them is around the innovation currencies, and I think Itan have shared the link with you. So this is a space where we can learn and get some knowledge about different issues and ideas connecting to social solidarity economy. So I think if I have shared the link with you earlier, maybe you can share it again. But yeah, there is a course on the innovation currency. So yeah, any comments, any feedback? So maybe we have. Yes?
I just wanted to say a small remark here. From where I stand here in Portugal, in a small village in Sintra near Lisbon, maybe not so small, but a little conservative. What would be the best form to present that to our borders, to our government here? Because I see it's implemented in a lot of cities. In many places it works very, very well. So I am curious about that because I think it's very constructive to people. It's co-creation, very, very sustainable. But we are a very traditional layer here, and the governance is not so so innovative. So if you have any ideas, I could introduce this to some government people. I would appreciate.
As a matter of fact, ACPP is actually working with some partners in Portugal.
Okay.
And,
okay.
And we are supporting the national network of time banks, and ClickCoin technology is providing that support to the MedTown project. But also there is a collaboration with the municipality of Lisbon that could serve as an example for that. A way when you want to convey to more liberal conceptions of economy, if you want to persuade them of the interest of these formulas, the key element is to talk about the competitiveness of the small businesses and creating a more
competitive. What? Sorry.
Competitiveness.
Okay.
So, so a formula that we are working with many municipalities is a formula by which we produce like a bonus for purchasing goods and services in the small businesses, in the local businesses. So for every euro that you acquire in local currency, the local authority will provide you perhaps 25 cents. So you have, if you are using a local currency system, you will be having access to more resources to spend locally. And so that's a formula by which local authorities can encourage local consumption and production. That's very simple, and it's operating in many cities nowadays.
Thank you very much.
So since we don't have other questions or comments,
I have just last.
Yeah, we will have a final remarks with you.
Yeah. Most of the digital or alternative form of currencies which are you are presenting today, for example, are used to let the people behave in a certain way. So this is a good innovations, good idea. I mean to. But the most important thing is to how to make this sustainable. So after you may finish the project, a few days or few weeks later, the people will not continue to use such this innovative currency. So I think in the future projects, we should consider this, taking this into our consideration, how to make this sustainable, how to let the people to continue use these innovations or digital currency. This is an important issue. I think several factors may lead to sustainable use of such innovative currencies. One of them, I think, is how easy to use this. For example, also there should be a benefits. There should be no fees or transaction fees. There should be trust. There should be security, and maybe if we link this project to others medium of exchange, for example, these tokens maybe can convert it to cash, or they can buy it from other projects. This will make it more sustainable. I think this is an important issue to be considered also.
Thank you.
If you allow me, Dr. Samah.
But we will ask Laith if he has any final comment or anything to share with us.
Thank you, Dr. Samah.
So the floor is yours.
Yes, of course, very interesting. I am hearing all our speakers with interest, a good subject, local currencies, etc. How to deal with the currencies, electronic currencies and local currencies. Many questions can be asked, but for the limited of time, maybe as mentioned, Dr. Muad, sustainability, it will be, and security of such as currencies, it will be the main issue maybe in the future to be discussed and elaborate. From my side, I would like to thank all speakers, Jose, Laith, and Dr. Muad, for their fruitful presentations and for their contribution to our webinar today. Thank you, Dr. Samah, for your contribution also and for moderating this webinar. And Fadia, thank you for organizing. And thanks all participants for accepted to participate for today's webinar. We will have another 2 webinars in the near future, and we will invite also all our guests to participate. And if you remember that if you need any more answers to your questions or concerns, please let us know, and you can share your questions or comments with Dr. Samah, and she will elaborate on this. And final, it's to you, Dr. Samah, to close the event.
So yeah, this is it, I think. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for our guests for giving us this interesting talk. I think it was such a space for us to learn about innovation currencies. And for me, it was kind of to think and to link the different discussion. I think for places of crisis, it is a way of resistance for such situation. And it's important to think about how we build trust, how can we publicize success stories and learn from each other. And this is a space, I think, for all of us to learn from. So we will see you in our next webinar, which we will share with you the link and the invitation in the topic. And of course, we will have another opportunity to have some experiences and some knowledge to learn from. Thank you, everybody.